I know that Holes is a very successful film and, of course, a very successful book. I remembered watching it very briefly, probably just after it first came out, but I didn't really remember it very well, so I decided to give it another watch. And it turns out I don't like it. There are aspects about this that I thought was really good. This was released in 2003, directed by Andrew Davis, written by Louise Sachar, who also wrote the novel. I apologise if I mispronounced that name. I'm pretty sure I did. So the things I like about this, I'll talk about the narrative itself in a moment, which just didn't really appeal to me. But I liked the atmosphere, I liked the set design, I really liked the casting. Obviously, I haven't read the novel, so maybe if I'd read the novel, I'd have a different interpretation of the characters in my head. But just based on the character traits that were presented in this, I feel like the casting was very good. And, I mean, the set designs are absolutely brilliant. The orange outfits, uniforms, I guess, really effective. It creates a really, great image. And the mystery around this is also really interesting. But I just think the narrative itself is not my kind of narrative. It doesn't really appeal to me as a story. But I can see why it would be popular. So I think what I'm trying to say is that if this is your kind of thing, you'll like it. But if it's not, then you'll probably appreciate it as a piece of art. There are a lot of things about this that have been done well. The dialogue is very good. There are moments of humour that work really well, and when it's dramatic, it works really well as well. But if it's not your kind of narrative, you may lose attention a little bit. The description from IMDb is as follows, and this says, a wrongfully convicted boy is sent to a brutal desert detention camp when he joins the job of digging holes for some mysterious reason. And I think that's brilliant. They are just in this desert digging holes. Why are they digging holes? Well, that's kind of the point of the film, and that really did make me think, what's going on? Why are they doing this? That mystery element did capture my attention. But a film set in the desert, although it's very impressive to look at, I found it a little bit dry. No pun intended. I found it lacking in anything to sustain my imagination. Obviously, when I remembered that we didn't know why they're doing this, I became curious. But then I just watched the narrative unfold again. I think maybe the pacing was a little slow at times. It's not my favourite. But I will say the casting is pretty great. Sigourney Weaver is the Warden. Jon Voight is Mr. Sir. Shia LeBoeuf is Stanley, it's Stanley Yelnats, which I think is an absolutely brilliant name. Obviously credit to the book version for that. The characters all have pretty interesting names that I think the younger audience will enjoy. Barfbag, Twitch, Zigzag, Magnet, Squid, Zero. It's very much a kind of Stand By Me. Well, that's the first film that came to mind. That kind of boys in... I'm not sure when this is actually set. I think it's pretty contemporary, to be perfectly honest. But that kind of film, that kind of feeling, it is interesting. Stanley as a protagonist is very interesting. I thought he was really good, really likeable, easy to get on with. The rest of the boys are pretty interesting and they have a good mix of personalities. So really, it has all of the hallmarks of a good film. I just personally do not like this kind of narrative. It didn't do much for me. Definitely, as a piece of art, as a piece of cinema, it does the job. But for me, it's never going to be my favourite.